Welcome to Dodgers Dawgs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. I guess the Padres, if they want to feel like throwing a Shohei Ohtani twice, the second time last night, up and in, if they want to feel like losing 3 out of 4 games, if that gives them the last laugh, then shame on you. That was an absolutely pitiful display of sportsmanship. It was a pitiful situation to throw at maybe the greatest player of this generation in Shohei Ohtani. Hey, and the receipts are there. Coach Holt and I went over it the other day. They threw at his hip. We had no problem. Matter of fact, the other day on our show, we said we felt like baseball is policing itself. Hey, Shohei Ohtani, you are a stud. The way that he handled that, hey, Padres, here we go, okay? You want to throw at Shohei Ohtani twice. You want to come up by the head, the shoulder area, the second time. Guess what Ohtani did last night? He laughed at your ass. The same way Dodgers fans are laughing at your ass for losing 3 out of 4 games. The same way that baseball in itself is laughing at you today for losing 3 out of 4 games at the Dodgers and making complete clowns of yourself in Los Angeles this weekend. To Mike Shildt, he will never watch this. I hope he does. I'm not arrogant enough to think he will. I have had nothing but great things to say about Mike Shildt. I loved him when he was at the Cardinals. He's always been a first-class human being. I have no idea if he gave the okay for Suarez to come up on Shohei Ohtani. But I'm not going to lie. I left this entire series, Mike Shildt, with a substantially less view of the amount of class that you handle your organization with. You got your ass kicked. Deal with it. You don't deal with getting your ass kicked by trying to hit Shohei Ohtani up in the shoulder area, who, by the way, laughed at your ass all the way to first base. So that's how I'm going to start today's show. Pretty fired up about that. That is not baseball policing itself. That is chicken shit, and that's just, it's not acceptable. And it still has me fired up today. Jack Little hitting Tatis Jr. up, that was a terrible situation. That's not something that I will defend. I will say this, Jack Little was making his major league debut. It was not going his way. There's no way Jack Little intentionally tried to do that to Tatis Jr. Having said that, he still hit Tatis Jr. way up high the same way that Shohei Ohtani got hit. So from that perspective, I don't have any problem with the benches clearing. I don't have any problem with the Padres being upset about that, and it was bad optics. But I just knowing Jack Little, knowing the struggles, knowing the major league debut, I don't think that was intentional. I don't blame the Padres for reacting the way that they did. It was just a spark there. It was just lit all week long, and so it was just one of those deals to where that was just kind of inevitable. And I'm very glad Joe Davis said this on the broadcast, that these teams don't play again till August. Let things simmer down. This was, we talk about those fires all the time, and you put out the main fire, but then there's all these little embers that keep just popping up everywhere. That was apparently going to continue to happen because the Padres are never going to move on from getting their asses kicked. So last night, the game last night was not good. I'm not going to lie about that. The offense that has been anywhere from good to good enough in the last 11 games or so, basically since the Dodgers beat the Cardinals in the last game of that series. Remember, the Cardinals beat the Dodgers the first 2 games of the series in St. Louis. The Dodgers rebounded since that rebound on that Sunday where the Dodgers beat the Cardinals. They've averaged about 5.5 runs a game. And by the way, they've won a hell of a lot of games here lately. So last night was not good. We're not going to get into a whole lot of analysis of last night's game. Today is more of a big picture perspective day. Maybe not what you want to hear, but when you really look back and you just take a step back away from the fact that last night's game sucked. Although I will say, as anemic at times as the Dodgers offense looked last night, still with all of that going on, the Dodgers still got the tying run to the plate with a guy that can hit home runs very well in Dalton Rushing. The rook struck out there to end the game. That happens. But still, the goal when you're trailing, especially by as many runs the Dodgers were, just get the tying run to the plate, and the Dodgers did that. So the big picture perspective, Dodgers leave this stretch of games, the Padres twice, the San Francisco Giants, you had the Mets, you had the Yankees, You've had this grueling schedule, all these games on days in a row. The Dodgers leave this stretch with a 3.5 game lead over San Francisco. Fantastic. 5 over the Padres, even more fantastic. 8 over the D-backs. So to stretch your lead during this time was a big deal. Now, I'll say this, moving forward, the Dodgers have the Nats tonight, who are 31-44. They then have two of the worst, maybe the two worst teams in, not back-to-back, but they play them in this next stretch coming up before the 4th of July. They play both the Rockies and the White Sox in a 3-game series each. They play the Royals that, hey, that's kind of my area. That's probably, other than Texas, that's the closest major league team to us. Jack Caglione has that franchise energized. They have some great young players. If you go to Kansas City and don't play well, you will lose some games there. So although the Royals are 37-38, that will not be an easy series for the Dodgers, I promise. Plus, it's going to be hotter than a little red wagon whenever the Dodgers go to Kauffman Stadium there in Kansas City. No doubt about that. So although the Royals are 37-38, that will be a good test. But all in all, when you put all that in the basket, the Nats, the Royals, the Rockies, all of that, the White Sox, the Dodgers, as Joe Davis was saying on the broadcast last night, do not play a team with a winning record until July 4th. So you've had you've had the name brand names. The Yankees, I know Eric Karras was mentioning this last night. This was a great comment by him. You've had the Yankees, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Giants, the Padres, all these names that really fire you up to want to play. That makes it easy to be motivated. That makes it easy to get out of bed even if you don't feel great or if you feel like you're in the middle of that dog days of summer type of grind. So will the Dodgers be able to have that same type of focus, that same type of energy against teams that are named the White Sox, teams that are having seasons like the Rockies? This will be a stretch to where it'll be all about the Dodgers. It will not be about there will be a game or two where somebody plays out of their mind or you have a great pitching performance and they just beat the Dodgers. That likely will happen. But more so than that, just over a big picture perspective, this stretch until July 4th is all about the Dodgers. If you come mentally prepared, if you don't let your mind slip after this grueling stretch, and if you don't go flat just because it's not the name brand recognition, as long as you don't do that and you play Dodgers baseball, just keep playing the way you are right now. I mean, your lead going into the 4th of July could be even bigger than that. You could have a 6 or 7 game lead, and then you're only 3 weeks away or so from either getting maybe some big time arms back and or getting some reinforcements at the trade deadline. So as Coach Holt mentioned in the show yesterday, what looked like there was no light at the end of the tunnel a couple weeks ago, you're starting to you're not even peeking through. You're starting to see big glimpses of some light in this thing, especially when you have Justin Robleski throwing as well as he did. You have Ben Kasparius throwing well. Jack Little continues to have a good season. And by the way, congratulations to Jack Little making his Major League debut last night. Didn't go the way he wanted, obviously, but still, that debut in and of itself is special because you're forever a major leaguer. And that's a very elite fraternity. There's very few people that ever get to be a major leaguer ever. And so that's something that nobody can take away from Jack Little. So congratulations to him. So won the 7 of the 10 games between the Padres and Giants. You can't ask for more than that. And also, that's in the face of all the pitching injuries. We've used, 15, 16 different starters, something like that, 14 guys on the IL. So we've concentrated on the pitching aspect of things. But that 7 out of 10 is in the face of, how about this? Shohei Ohtani's not hitting with runners in scoring position. Mookie Betts isn't hitting, period. Mookie Betts is hitting 175 in the last 7 games. 175. During that time, those 7 games, he's slugging just 167. He's hitting just 250 in his last 15 games, and he's hitting just 241 in his last 30. Freddie Freeman, while he's getting base hits, there's no slug whatsoever. There are no home runs. There's no double. I mean, it's not the typical Freddie Freeman get hits and slug. So the Dodgers have won this 7 out of 10 games and extended their lead, not only facing the pitching issues they've had, but facing the fact that their top 3 Hall of Famers haven't been performing the way that this roster was set up for them to perform. So you've had to win 70% of your games even with your tank not anywhere as close to full with those guys. And so through it all, even though last night sucked, it was a dud, no doubt about it, even though you did get, like I said, the tying run to the plate, you can't ask for more than what the Dodgers have done in this month of June to this point. You just can't ask for more than what they've done. Extending the lead again to 3.5 over San Francisco. It's 5 over the Padres, 8 over the D-backs. Considering the pitching, the top three not being perfect, just can't ask for more in my opinion. So 10-8 since the beginning of the month. Again, that's not a great record by any stretch, but it's been good enough to do what the Dodgers needed to do to get closer to a period in the season where they can get full force, no doubt about it. So some more of the positives. You have, some teams coming up that you can definitely beat. You have the rookies. The young players are playing well. We mentioned them. Andy Pages continues to be one of the best players in baseball. Hae-Sung Kim continues to be electric on the baseball field. Dalton Rushing, we saw his impact and the night before whenever he caught the two rookies, and Emmett Sheehan and Justin Robleski. He also got the big two RBI hit. Jack Little made his debut last night. Kasperius and Jack Dreyer doing well. And then also Nick Frosto. I really think he's ready. And then also positives, you're going to get probably some help on the pitching horizon from some guys that are on the injured list. I don't have any inside information on that. And or you're getting closer to the deadline where you can reinforce. So the Dodgers, it seems like in the past, have always filled in their margins with older guys like Austin Barnes, Chris Taylor, maybe a David Peralta, maybe a Joey Gallo, somebody like that. This year, they're filling in their margins with Dalton Rushing, Hae-Sung Kim, Jack Little, Jack Dreyer, Justin Robleski. So it's super exciting for me that the Dodgers have kind of turned the page to filling their margins with rookies or younger players instead of filling their margins with veterans. What that does for you, it makes you younger. It makes you more exciting. It makes you more energetic, which that energy then feeds into your older guys as well. But then also what it does is it gives your prospects also some runway to become a major leaguer, and then it helps you build for the future. So super excited about where the Dodgers are headed last night. Again, last night was not a great game in any stretch of the imagination. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, yeah, not terrible. Not good, not great, definitely not great. I wouldn't say even really good. I would say just okay. 6.1 innings, that's good. He stretched past 6 innings. That's always good with the Dodgers bullpen situation. 7 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, no walks. I would say last night was more about behind the curtains. He did throw his four-seam fastball for just about the sweet spot in strikes. But the thing that was concerning to me was the way that his fastball, Eric Karros mentioned this a couple times. He was exactly right on the broadcast. His fastball was getting hit, especially up in the zone, which tells me the spin on it is not rotating the way it normally does, which means it's not getting that riding effect like he's needing it to get, because hitters are able to get on top of it. And so I think there's some spin rate issue. That tells me that maybe there's some spin rate issues, and or it's just not as explosive as a pitch, that fastball at the top of the zone as it needs to be. And then another thing, his splitter got hit. So just kind of the way that Yoshinobu Yamamoto looked hittable last night, I think is probably the one thing that sticks out the most about the concerning aspects of it. But it was a grinder. It was not a bad outing in any stretch. Again, 6.1 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, and no walks. So, hey, that's kind of my thoughts. Really not a whole lot of thoughts on last night's game. Again, more of a big picture view on just kind of the state of the Dodgers at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at. And we have a good down the farm coming up. We have a lot of action in the system last night. So let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's take a trip down on the farm. Welcome to Dodgers Daily Down on the Farm. So glad you decided to stick around for the prospect talk. And as we always do, we're going to start in Single A Rancho Cucamonga. We're going to start with a young man, a lefty, Sterling Paddock, who turned in a really good start last night for Rancho. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. So what you're seeing here is a wicked amount of breaking balls. So he has a shorter slider, call it a cutter, whatever you want. He has the bigger slider, that one there. And then what you're going to see here in a minute, that one. He also has the sweeper, and a curveball. So the secondaries for Sterling Paddock are just, so call the sweeper the bigger slider. There's the smaller slider cutter that he also has, the more 12-6 curveball type pitch. And then he also has that left turn to his fastball. So he has a little bit of left turn to his fastball. He's got lots of great right turning secondary stuff. The cutter is 89-91. The curveball is 74-76. And then the change is 84-86. And then the fastball can hit mid-90s. So you're talking about mid-90s to 89-91 to 93-95 to 74 to 84-86 to 74-76. So he has a 20-mile-an-hour spread difference between his fastball and all of his secondaries. So that's a lot to get to. That's a lot to unpack. That's a lot to develop in a young lefty, of which Ramon Troncoso, Brandon Bailey are doing a very good job of. And so it's going to be super exciting to see all of that just bag of pitch mix continue to develop for Sterling Paddock. And he's doing a really good job right now. He's given up just 5 runs in his last 18 innings, and he has 20 strikeouts in that span. And like I said, the secondaries are the show for him. The fastball is very good as well, and it was a lot of fun to watch him pitch last night. So moving on at single A, Rancho Cucamonga, to another very, very, very talented young pitcher in the system, Sammy Sanchez. Sammy Sanchez, how about this? ERA of just 2.67. He's gone scoreless in 2 outings in a row. He's gone scoreless in 3 of his last 4. Last night, he went 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts, and 1 walk. You're seeing a fastball that's 93-94, but you're seeing change of speeds. You're seeing great locations. You're seeing fastballs at the top of the zone, and you are seeing a lot of strikes for Sammy Sanchez. So another young man that has really, him and Christian Zazueta, Nicholas Cruz, that group, Sterling Paddock, that is just a very, very, very talented pitching staff. That's why Rancho just ran away with the first half of his division. Plus, you had guys like Mike Sirota on that team for a while, and then also like Jaron Elkins, Elijah Hainline, who's fantastic. So moving up to Great Lakes, this is another very talented left-handed starter or piggyback guy, whatever the Dodgers want to make him. This is Luke Fox, young man out of Duke. Had a great start. 4 innings last night for Great Lakes, 4 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So the fastball was a great pitch. He threw it to the top of the zone, right there that you saw quite a bit. He threw it to both sides of the plate, and then he played that slider, especially to lefties, off of that. See that fastball at the top of the zone? So what he's going to do is he's going to tunnel that slider to that same location, then break it to the back foot. He also, like we said, he hit both sides of the plate with his fastball and just did a really good job of moving the ball around, changing speeds, changing shapes of his pitches. So really just the execution was perfect, and it was just really well thought out sequencing. And because of that, he had a good outing again, 4 innings last night. And there's that slider there that he plays off that fastball. 4 hits and no runs. So Luke Fox, look at that left on left slider. That is big time. Luke Fox has lowered his ERA to just 3.08. He has 60 strikeouts in 52.2 innings, and his average against is just 2.16. It's a great job. Luke Fox, definitely a young man that you want to continue to just keep your eye on. And talking about somebody that you not only need to keep your eye on, you definitely need to have him in your Rolodex. There is no doubt about it. If I can find last night's video of Mike Sirota, who's going to talk about right there. Watch, I'm going to back this up. Watch this. I mean, he just stays inside that ball, stays behind it. Going to back that up one more time. Stays behind it, and look at the bat speed as he so a couple things. No wasted movement, and then just bat speed. He just uses bat speed to stay behind the ball, stay inside of it, inside out that ball, over the right field wall. Of all the things that Mike Sirota's done, that's one of the most impressive hits to me, that opposite field home run that I have seen for him. And that's why Sirota's hitting .338. His OPS is .1057. He has hits in 8 games in a row, and he is just simply a fantastic young hitter, young man the Dodgers got in the Gavin Lux trade, who, by the way, is having a good season. So hopefully that trade can continue to be a win-win on both sides. Never miss a chance to brag on this young man, Frank Rodriguez. F-Rod had 2 hits last night, including his first home run of 2025. right there. That's the first home run for Frank Rodriguez. They call him Frank the Tank, F-Rod, whatever you want to call him. Baseball is renowned for giving young men great nicknames like that. How about this? Just very quietly, Frank Rodriguez is having a great year. He's hitting .364. Again, F-Rod, Frank Rodriguez. You may have never heard of him. He's hitting .364 for Great Lakes. OPS 1061. Now, he's only had 59 at bats because he's been on the injured list, that kind of deal. And I've had a chance to talk to him in Oklahoma City. He was on the development list. What a wonderful young man he is. But in a small sample size, F-Rod is having a really a great time at Rancho Cucamonga and hitting the ball very well. And obviously, you know, he's a team favorite because he is just such a wonderful young man. And then another young man that the Great Lakes Loons just got back, probably about a month ago off the IL, and that would be Kyle Nevin. Kyle Nevin's one of my favorite young hitters, just because of the Mike Sirota effect where he stays inside the ball. He has a world of power. I mean, Kyle Nevin, when he gets a hold of one, he can hit light tower type home runs, but then also he can do that right there. He can just stay inside the ball, keep things simple, and just use the entire field. So I think, I've said this a couple of times about him, I really think that as Kyle Nevin starts getting more detailed game plans that actually are accurate, you know, because in the lower levels, you don't have a whole lot of information on people. And even if you do, sometimes they're not capable of executing well enough to even pitch to a scouting report. So scouting reports are going to continue to get more accurate for Kyle Nevin. When that happens, I think that will really improve his swing decision mechanisms, and I think that's really the only thing holding him back for bringing a great hitter right now. So Kyle Nevin, really high on him. And moving up to the AA level, this is a young man the Dodgers got in the offseason. Kendall Simmons he was drafted originally in the 6th round, I believe it was 2019, by the Phillies. He spent all 6 years with the Phillies, became a free agent after 6 years in minor league baseball. You then are eligible for free agency. He chose free agency, chose to sign with the Dodgers, got put on the 60-day IL. The Drillers got him back about a week ago, and he's been a good player for them. It's been kind of a breath of fresh air. Only 25 years old. He had 3 hits yesterday for AA Tulsa. Has been playing some third base. Good athlete. Really impacts the baseball. So it's good to see a young man that the Dodgers put in their systems last year out of free agency. Kendall Simmons having a good time. And you talk about a young man that is one of my favorites, the all-time hits leader in Louisiana Tech, young man out of West Monroe, Louisiana, and that would be one Mr. T.Y. Taylor Young. You know, this is kind of the Ryan Ward story where, hey, T.Y., we know he can gather hits. He's the all-time hits leader in Louisiana Tech history. But what he's been trying to do is tweak his swing a touch to create more impact, to do more damage, maybe hit more home runs, maybe slug a little bit better. And to me, every time he's tried to do that as a pro, it just hasn't worked. I mean, you look up and he's hitting like 208, and you're like, Taylor, man, let's just go back to being T.Y. Let's just gather hits. If the ball moves its way to the outfield or goes over the fence, so be it. But let's do what Taylor Young's always done. Let's just gather hits. That's exactly what he's done the last month. So after a very slow start, in my opinion, slow start because he's trying to add more power and it just didn't work. He has his average all the way up to 250. He has 3 two-hit games in a row. He has 6 for his last 12. And as we always say about Taylor Young, he is just getting started. So good to see Taylor Young kind of getting back to his roots, gathering hits, especially to the opposite field gap, something that he is very, very good at. And so love Taylor Young, love watching him hit. And you talk about another young man that I love watching have success, something that he's had over and over and over in his career, Hunter Fiducia. We're going to talk about Hunter Fiducia. We're going to talk about Austin Gothier. We're going to talk about Cody Hosey. There are Ryan Ward in that book. There are Drew Avens last year. These quad A guys that have been really great AAA players for a long time and just have been given almost no opportunity. Fiducia has been pulled up to the major leagues a couple of different times. But just mad respect. He had 2 hits last night, 2 RBIs. These guys continue to approach every day like a total pro. And because of that, I mean, if you don't root for Hunter Fiducia, Austin Gothier, Cody Hosey, Ryan Ward, guys like that, I don't know what to tell you because they just continue to show up every single day and do what they're supposed to in the face of likely never being certainly not being an everyday starter, likely probably not even like a Cody Hosey, likely never even probably being a major leaguer at the major league level with the Dodgers, they just continue to grind. And here's Austin Gauthier. Whatever I said about Taylor Young a minute ago, same thing for Austin Gauthier. Who cares if you hit home runs? Who cares what the slug is? What Austin Gauthier has been, he's been a guy that wears out the right field corner. He wears out the right center field gap. He hits the ball the other way. He hits the ball up the middle. He uses the big part of the field. He hits the ball the entire field. He walks more than he strikes out when he's going well. That's Gator. That's Austin Gauthier. I don't care if he hits home runs. I want Gator. I think there is a place in the game that can have a profile like that, and Austin Gauthier definitely is that. So I would be great if he never tried to hit another home run ever again and just did what he does, walked a lot, walked more than he struck out, just be a pest at home plate, hit the ball the other way, and again, like I said just a minute ago, just be Austin Gauthier. Just do what Gator is good at and live with what the organization thinks from there. And then another young man we mentioned, got to respect the grind, Cody Hosey. If you, of course, 2019 first-round draft pick, didn't live up to all that billing. Dodgers fans wrote him off, okay? And so lots and lots of injuries, and if you actually take the time to look at how Cody Hosey has performed in the last couple of years, during the times he's been healthy, he's been pretty impressive. Again, this year, he had injuries again, just got back off the IL. He had the oblique injury. I mean, he's had a broken foot. He's had all sorts of things. And then every time he gets healthy, he starts hitting the ball well, then he gets hurt again. Went yard last night, Cody Hosey did for AAA Oklahoma City. Cody Hosey now has home runs in 2 of his last 3 games. He has hits in 4 games in a row, and he has hits in 7 of his last 8. Cody Hosey is 9 for his last 17. So he just continues to grind and grind and grind. And we're going to finish with our last prospect today with one of my favorites in the organization. Matter of fact, I had a chance to talk to him last night. Going to release our latest interview with one Mr. Jose Rodriguez, a guy that, hey, don't look at the ERA. He's been fast-tracked, and even he said in the interview last night, it's been hard for him to move up to AAA Oklahoma City because look at that changeup. You're facing major league guys. I mean, every lineup will have 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 sometimes major leaguers in their lineup, guys who have substantial major league. We'll just look at the Oklahoma City roster, no doubt about it. You can look at guys like Nick Senzel and Stuart Baroa and all guys, kinds of guys like that Funkhauser on the pitching side, that kind of deal. So it's been hard for him. So the ERA, not worried about it whatsoever. He's been fast-tracked through 1.2 scoreless innings last night. But the thing about him, if you'll watch his windup right here, so he turns his butt right there, but then it looks like to the hitter, he's getting ready to crossfire, land closer to the third base dugout. But look where his foot lands. His foot lands directly towards home plate. So he's getting the best of both worlds. He's getting a crossfire look to right-handers, which makes it hard for them to stay in, but then he's not actually crossfiring, which allows him to get behind the baseball, get all the spin rate he needs. He's about a 94, 95. He can touch maybe a 97 every now and then, but he has both a 4-seam and a 2-seam. He has a slider. He has the centerpiece changeup, that one right there. That is a centerpiece changeup, and he's adding a slurve. There's that nice little slider too. He was a starter, then he was a reliever, moved back to starter, now reliever. So he's a guy that could come in and max out like he did last night and go 1 inning, or he could give you a bulk inning performance. That's a nice slider. So you've seen a nice changeup that turned right. You've seen a nice slider that turned left. You're seeing the high and tight 2-seam, that right and runner. You're seeing the deception to his delivery where he's turning his butt, making it look like crossfire when it's actually not. And so I'm going to release that interview with Jose Rodriguez. And by the way, over 7 feet of extension. So he's delivering the ball close, just about 60. He's delivering the ball about 53 feet to home plate whenever he releases the ball. So lots to like about Jose Rodriguez. That's going to do it today for today's Dodgers Daily Down on the Farm. I want to thank you for tuning in. As always, you Dodgers dogs are the best crowd out there. You know that. Not the biggest, but the best, no doubt about that. And as always, a great reminder that it's a great day to be a Dodger.